New week, new set of Neo Reality Collective videos. 33 episodes. So, let's get right into it. So, Star Wars Squadron has announced that there will be a Mandalorian DLC coming out, adding free cosmetics to the product. Basically, Baby Yoda. Put Baby Yoda on your dash of the cockpit. As EA Motive and Lucasfilm announced today, the popular Disney Plus series will be spliced into Squadrons on October 28th, with 8 Underworld cosmetics available for die-hard fans. In total, the DLC will add 1 hologram, 1 decal, 1 piece of dashboard flare, and 1 hanging flare for each for the Imperial New Republic factions. You can see some of those up close, and yes, Baby Yoda is prominently featured. Yay! The Mandalorian is something that has often been a source of inspiration for us, due to its close proximity in our game's timeline. So it only felt natural to pay homage to it. Paying homage to the iconic character, we've made sure to create this wonderful new dashboard decoration based on a mysterious creature. This figure can adorn any dashboard across the New Republic starfighters, meaning the fan favorite bobbleheaded Tugtar Wowhead now has a rival. So, yeah, get ready for that, everyone. Yeah, Moto said they're nowhere near finished with the Star Wars universe, and they have several projects, but they're not going to disclose them. But this is the cosmetic update we're getting with this, and it's free. Yay! But like after all that's done, I'm curious to know where they'll take this stuff next, if at all. So look forward to that, everyone. Baby Yoda is adorable, right? Right. Too bad will grow up to be a horrendous, lying, hypocritical, dogmatic Jedi and then be killed by Kylo Ren because, let's be honest, the dark future that awaits everyone makes this relatively and completely pointless. Entropy. So, Phil Spencer has been on a roll with fans lately. Phil Spencer can't offer specific about Microsoft's work with Bethesda and ZeniMax other studios, but wants to ensure that his new teams will be able to make the best games possible. Speaking of Games Reactor, Spencer touched on the future of Bethesda titles on the Series X and X consoles. When asked about his long-term intentions for the deal, Spencer was quick to explain that the Xbox is yet to acquire ZeniMax. Rather, Xbox has announced its intention to acquire the company. In explaining the details of the acquisition, Spencer stressed that he's currently legally not allowed to sit down with Bethesda director Todd Howard and ZeniMax CEO Robert Altman to discuss future plans. Spencer explained that he's currently aware of many questions about the exclusivity of Bethesda games, but he says shifted his focus on his attention to Bethesda's output as a publisher. While he has yet to sit down with Howard directly about the future of Bethesda, Spencer did say that the two have a long-standing friendship and have discussed their partnerships. I was hoping for termination. Like, look, I know some people still like Todd Howard for everything he did, saving the company and everything, but like that was back then. That was like he lost a lot of people's trust when the modding community was being exploited for money purposes instead of, hey, these are talented guys, let's showcase them, let's hire them even. But to exploit their hard work for cash and try to make money off of it with the creation club, make paid mod a thing. But the problem isn't that I hated the paid mod idea as a concept. I think it's more like we're paying for third party modders directly but like some of the money goes to Bethesda, who just made the game but didn't make those mods, and yet like there's a thing like Patreon, and there's donation PayPals. There are tons of services, fundraisers that people fund for their projects. So the idea that Bethesda wanted a cut of that is the problem I have. The idea of paying for all these modders' hard work for their dedication and passion, I would have no problem with that, because as like it just makes sense like to me. But when Bethesda was like, hey, modders, your thing is doing pretty well. In fact, maybe we're praising it more than it's our own game, than our own games. How about we kind of take a little bit of that money for your hard work, and you get to keep like 25% kind of screw job deal. But yeah, that's my problem. And now he's like, oh, they have a long-standing friendship. And it's like, damn it, now there's a chance he's not gonna get fired. And I'm not being like cruel, like how I think that Todd Howard will lose everything if he gets fired. Let's see, either he gets fired, and he's already set for life with all the money. He could just go somewhere else really quickly. I mean, like if his reputation is still good enough, or they remove him from director position because fans don't trust him as much as they used to. Especially Jim Sterling and all the stuff he covered in 2019 alone with Fallout 76's disasters. Even after he made his retrospective video. So, yeah, he said this. In terms of what I want long term, I want those amazing studios to create the best games they ever created. According to Spencer, Howard very much felt the same and expressed intention to use Microsoft's backing to make the best games Bethesda ever could. Mostly modding it to exploitation to death. Hey. Phil Spencer thinks Xbox could do more with more single player games. In a recent interview, Xbox Phil Spencer has commented on Xbox's upcoming lineup and what it might benefit from. As part of the big complex Games Reactor event, when asked if he focuses on a certain amount of games being single player or multiplayer for Xbox's portfolio, Spencer replied, "If anything, I'd like to see more single player games from our first party, just because that over time we've kind of grown organically to be more multiplayer driven as an organization." Elsewhere, Spencer comments on what might be missing for the Xbox and the broad spectrum of games, including under the Game Pass umbrella. If we look at what people are playing on the Xbox, what Game Pass subscribers are playing, I think what is missing from our portfolio is casual content with a broad appeal. E-rated content, to the use of an ESRB rating, is not a strength for us. We obviously have Minecraft and we have some other franchises, but when I think about expanding creative platelet that our teams have, I think that's critically important. Spencer also continues to be a big believer in getting as many people as possible to play as they play their game. To play a game, I believe great games should be able to be played by many as possible. Camaraderie that you and I might feel while playing a Destiny strike together, and praising the fact that games can cross political lines, geographical lines, socioeconomic lines, and religious lines. Just don't do a hot coffee fiasco, and then we're good. Then you'll have the government getting involved, and no one wants to deal with them trying to go ahead and continue the crusade of the gaming is the devil. So, yeah, continuing saga that Phil Spencer is the best thing that ever happened to Microsoft's game side. Okay, so, yeah. So, good news and bad news. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 3 is rumored to be in development. Yes! But don't get too excited. Aww. So, rumors suggest that another game in the Star Wars Force Unleashed series could be in development. Insider Daniel Richtman, who is known for his Disney-based predictions, told his Patreon backers that a third entry in the series was potentially on the cards. We got this covered. I'm talking about on Games Radar. Unfortunately, he went into very little detail beyond this report that the game exists in very early stages of development with no official word from Disney or EA, who now owns the license to create the games. It's worth approaching the rumor with a healthy dose of skepticism. It's possible that EA may want to look to expand upon Force Unleashed 2, which finished in a manner of open-endedness that enough to make another game a distinct possibility, given poor sales and the closure of LucasArts in 2013, not to mention the decade-long gap since the last release. It seems unlikely EA would be looking to pick up another single-player Star Wars experience, particularly given the success of Fallen Order, which has described as a first title in an entirely new franchise, implying plenty more adventures to come for Cal Kestis and his pals. Disney could be looking for a new partner to develop games once the current partnership with EA draws to a close, but at this point it's equally unlikely the publisher maintains the rights to the Star Wars games. In the unlikely event that his rumor turns out to be more fact than science fiction, it's still likely to be a while before Starkiller's next outing sees the light of day, so they said don't hold your breath for a quick release. So like they say, okay, we're hearing this rumor, but we're not 100% sure yet. Okay, so would I like to see The Force Unleashed 3, yes. I feel like, and this would be possibly furthering the idea that two canons can live. One being Disney's universe, and the other being the Legends universe. What a lot of fans want back, and but both can exist. I feel like everyone can win that, but would I think EA be interested in that? That's a debatable problem. I don't know if they would. I'm like they would be banking off of Force Unleashed on the concept of the Force Unleashed. It is still a hot property to some people, but considering it's been over 10 years, that could also be a factor in like not wanting to do it. But at the same time, it's like you could just put the banner Star Wars Legends, The Force Unleashed 3, and then I think you get the very die-hard Star Wars fans and those who remember the Force Unleashed and those who love the Legends timeline more than the Disney timeline will have. Oh, I have an option now. Yes. I don't think it's ever going to be made canon because if they did make it canon, they would have to basically strip a ton of awesome stuff in there and reboot the whole franchise. And then we'd be back to square one, and everyone probably doesn't want to do that anymore besides other than what Hollywood's offering. But like, yeah, I sincerely hope this is a full fledged sequel, just taking place in the other timeline instead of it being a soft reboot, taking place after Force Unleashed 2, but they would alter certain stuff and try to say, oh, this didn't happen, and or just be a full fledged reboot because we can't have Shang-Chi dying in by Anakin Skywalker's hands only for her to show up in Force Unleashed each one and reveal, oh, she died in this. And then you'll be like, oh, God. Unless they retcon and say it's a clone, in which case I'll just be like, oh, God damn it. So there's a rumor going around. According to a Twitter post from Brad Sams, reporter of, I can't pronounce that, and a noted Microsoft insider, are that there are whispers of more changes at 343 circulating. Sam shared a tweet suggesting there are rumors about internal changes to Halo Infinite developer 343 Industries, following up another tweet indicating that whispers are not related to the game. Whispers of more changes are circulating, not saying anything else, but maybe it becomes public eventually. So, yeah. Essentially, however, it's worth taking his tweets with a grain of salt. Sam also reported in GLI that source told that Halo Infinite Multi might not launch with single player upon release. This was later debunked in a Twitter response by Halo's community director at 343, Brian Jared. He has now responded to the now deleted tweet saying, "Nothing to see here, folks. This is not true." Recently, Bloomberg reported that Joseph Staten, and who's someone who played a large role in the development of the early Halo title, Staten has moved to 343 Industries as part of the wider reorganization to help work on Halo Infinite. This new rumor from Sam's could indicate more changes to 343 Industries development team, although nothing's been confirmed and there's yet to be a comment from the company, from the studio. 343's highly anticipated was delayed in August due to the multiple factors, including the ongoing COVID crisis, pushing the scheduled game launch to 2021. So Joe Staten, the guy who pretty much helped write the series, he's in the biggest way possible, except for a few titles, uh, is coming back. In fact, that was said a while back. But this other rumor regarding the internal changes, I wouldn't be surprised. There could be some changes going on, part of the reorganization. Maybe this is not focusing on the base game we're going to get. If I had to guess, this is probably going to impact the future game, since this is going to be a 10-year project, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be huge changes in between 2021 to 2031. So yeah, don't be surprised if that happens, everyone. So here's the thing. So reports came out that so Impact Wrestling had their Bound for Glory event, where Rhino won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. However, Mike Johnson reported that Rhino wasn't originally booked to win the Gauntlet. No. Oh. He instead said Heath Slater was supposed to walk away with the victory by defeating Sami Callihan, but then he got injured in the match, meant that the ending had to change on the fly. The motion called an audible during the bout, and Rhino was booked to go over, so he still secured a contract. The exact nature of Heath's injury is initially unknown, but Johnson later noted it's believed that the former WWE superstar suffered a hernia. He was hospitalized following the pay-per-view. How long he will be on the shelf for is currently unknown. As a result, the creative teams were up until early hours of Sunday morning, rewriting plans for the weekend's tapings. No, he has kids. Okay, let's do one more. He's got kids. Slater. Well, let's hope that guy makes it through this. It recovers greatly because Rock and Roman have experienced hernias, and Rock can never wrestle again unless Hollywood allows it due to insurance bullshit. And Roman had to wear that vest protection for a number of years until they finally said, "Oh, let's go ahead and take it off." There was also another thing that happened at Bound for Glory. So remember Kylie Ray? She was supposed to be at that match, and Fightful Select reported that Kylie Ray was in Nashville, Tennessee for the show, even inquired about call times for Saturday, but she ultimately didn't show up though, and multiple wrestlers subsequently reached out to people close to Kylie Ray who said she was alive and well. The decision for Shu Young to replace Kylie Ray was reportedly made on Saturday afternoon. Mike Johnson later provided additional details. He noted Impact did acknowledge Ray not working the pay-per-view during the broadcast out of respect for her. She remains a member of the roster and is good standing with the promotion. She's expected to return and is able when she's able and not currently injured. Okay. So this I don't know what exactly I don't know how to define this exactly. So Kylie Ray, this sort of sounds like what happened last time. You know, the mystery regarding what happened to her when when she was in AEW and was granted her release, and fans and people started making these speculations that something happened backstage. It was Chris Jericho's fault. Oh, that he did something to her, but there was no evidence on that, and Tito was verbally destroyed by that on Twitter by the internet community for saying something that had no evidence and that his word. And then Brandy Rhodes was being accused, saying that she forced her out of AEW because she wanted to be the one to be put over, except she hasn't even gone after the women's title yet, and it has subsequently only been in dark matches, and every time when she's on the main show, she gets her ass beaten up, so yeah, you can't do that. And she even publicly came out and said this. And while you could make the argument, oh, so she's probably lying. And, okay, fine, because we have a Machiavellian schemer in Connecticut always constantly making bullshit statements. And it's like third parties. But considering this happened, I feel like now I don't think anything did happen in AEW that made her leave. If I had to guess, and this is a possibility, that she does have an issue going on in her personal life that has nothing to do with the industry whatsoever, and it causes her to break down or something. And you have some doubts, have some thoughts or something. I'm not going to go there, but and this is just me speculation on this. I have no evidence whatsoever to provide for that. This is just my internal thoughts and what sometimes I could go through at times from time to time, but I don't really have those kind of thoughts. But I do know that kind of breakdown where you just don't want to work right now, and it's just like, oh, and your mind's just exhausted and everything, and those are the stuff I usually have to deal with when I work. But I feel like after this, people should just keep quiet. And if Kylie Ray wants to talk about it, she can. I don't know what happened with her, but whatever it is, it's her issue. If she wants to talk about it, she should pick her time and place. And let's just hope for the best for her and her family helps her out. That's all. So into more weird positive news. Um, So Lance Storm has revealed something. Um, he revealed in an interview that Chris Jericho and Lance Storm, sort of have an unofficial pact that they will have their last match ever together. Because they had their first match ever together and they're still really good friends. So provided he doesn't keep wrestling for another 25 years, there is the probability, or at least possibility, that he and Lance will have one last match, and they will do our debut in the joint retirement match together. So there's still a possibility of that one day, someday. Oh man. Oh god. Okay, so I really want to see Lance Storm and Jericho fight one last time. Like I'd be all for that because they are great They were, but Lance Storm hasn't wrestled much. In fact, when was the last time he wrestled? He retired. Wait, when did he retire? Here, let me check. Lance Storm is 51 years old. Okay, age is just. He retired in 2016, so theoretically he has not wrestled since 2016. So he could still train. Yeah, I can get that. But when you have ring rust and you haven't wrestled, uh, yeah, I get the feeling that was probably going to be like, but yeah, I get why they would probably have this idea, but they made this unofficial deal with each other, like WrestleMania 15 or 16. And that was before 17 and 18, so this was back in the 90s or the early 2000s. Yeah, early 2000s, when this happened. So I don't know if that deal will still be packed today, but we'll see. Oh, by the way, at Triple Mania, it seems that Kenny Omega will defend his Mega Championship with AAA at Triple Mania, which still has an unknown date. So, yeah. But here's the thing. If they do that, if AAA comes back and does that big event, um, will that require at Triple Mania 28? So, they currently have no date for it yet, but they think that they'll do this. It's unknown when will Triple Mania take place, but the promotion is set to hoping to run the event in December, pending arena due to health concerns. The health code will need to drop from orange to at least yellow, or the government will need to sign off on the show. Oh, Triple Mania 28 is set to be a 7-match card, and they are still working on a TV deal. The show will be postponed if necessary. So yeah, Kenny Omega has been the AAA Mega Champion since he won it last year. Wait, was it last year? He won. Yeah, it was December 2019. When he defeated Dragon Lee, Omega has defended the belt against Sammy Guevara, March episode Dynamite, and that was the last time we ever saw it. So yeah, sad states there on that front, but yeah, would I love to see the title come back? Like they really need, like they have the belt. Why not? I'm pretty sure they have a deal with AAA to hey, can we promote this on the show? Yes. Okay, it's part of our deal. Yes. Okay. So why not? Since Kenny Omega's still the champion, and they could bring it up and have it be defended on a side, or hell, make it the title for AEW Dark before he wins the world title. Then he'll be Kenny Two Belts. Yeah, I had to say that. We got Moxley Two Belts, Omega Two Belts. Who will be the dominant two belt champion to become four belts? Mox four belts, Omega four belts. The ultimate belt collecting matchup of the century, damn it. Actually, that would sound like an awesome idea. Okay, Japan, do it. Do it. New Japan, call AEW on the phone and say, hey, you can have John Moxley drop the title to Kenny in a 4-belt matchup. 4 belts, damn it. And then Kenny Omega can show up on New Japan's US show, drop the US belt to Hideo Itami, and just have an awesome match right there because that would be freaking awesome. So WWE's Assistant General Counsel and Senior Vice President of Intellectual Property, Lauren Dennis Medellin, was recently profiled by Sports Illustrated Business Journal after making their 2020 class of game changers women in business sport and women in sports business. So I don't know much about her, so I really have no opinion on that. But like WWE being a game changer, like back then, yeah, but like, yeah. She's overseen and protects all of WWE's intellectual property. The name may be familiar to some, as she's listed on all trademark filings from the company. It was noted that WWE has nearly 8,000 active trademarks, registrations, and applications worldwide. Hey, she runs a team of 4 people that all work in-house at HQ, so they're clearly employees and not the independent contractors. In Stamford, Connecticut, the team works with the global network outside of outside counsel to fight the 2 biggest intellectual property threats it's WWE's up against: counterfeit products and piracy of WWE broadcasts. I mean, that and like, you know, their real names. Like, you can't freaking own their real government names. The names they were given at birth by their parents that was officially registered say, okay, so your name is this. Okay, in fact, let me just get my paper comic here and use it as a document. Okay, so your name is this. Okay, we'll put that in the official registry. Okay. Approved by our government. And now it's like, we here at WWE, they are certainly not a dictatorship of totalitarian states that make the communists look like they're crazies. Okay, because they are freaking crazy, but they still think they own everything. We will take a page out of that book and say we own their real names. Just like how the communists think they own everything, including private property. Going to how the totalitarian system works. So, we devote a lot of our time and energy and financial resources to protect our IP, except for when the IP belongs to the wrestlers and they should not have that many trademarks. So that third-party fans are not getting product that they believe to be coming from us. That's in fact actually counterfeit product that would not meet the standards that are set by whatever country, not just the US. Okay, fine. Counterfeit, I totally get. You are still enabling Vince to own people's real freaking names. I'm like, if that's still in Vince's illegal actions. So I've always wondered how high it could go. Oh, she said. I'll tell you, from the beginning of my career, I wouldn't know if I could have predicted my role I'm in now, but I relish the role I'm in now. I relish the power of taking people's names and adding them to the corporate portfolio of independent contractors. Yeah, I'm still annoyed by that, so I will not defend this. I will not give my support on whatever she says right now. WWE is reportedly moving the Thunderdome to a new venue in December. WWE is reportedly scheduled to leave the Thunderdome at the Amway Center in Orlando on Tuesday, November 24th, but they are taking the unique viewing experience with them. It was reported by WrestleVotes. It was reported by WrestleVotes that WWE discussed the possibility of running venues in North Carolina, Illinois, and Texas over the weekend. Or did you have a plan involved? Okay. John Alba also said, I have received the amendment to the contract between the City of Orlando and WWE to hold the Thunderdome at Amway Center officially runs through November 24th in a tweet. The contract itself has not changed between WWE and Amway, with the NBA looking to start season in December and the ECHL's Orlando Solar Bears beginning play as well on the approximate December 11th. This appears to be the end of the Thunderdome's run in Orlando. So the NBA has basically killed them. Got it. So, tragically for Drew McIntyre fans and for fans who have seen this repeated cycle with Orton, Orton won the title and is scheduled for a long freaking reign. It was reported back in July that he had plans And that's for a third match between Orton and Hall of Famer Edge. The trilogy was scheduled to continue at SummerSlam, but that was before Edge suffered the triceps injury during the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash, which was won by Orton. It was noted on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer News Radio that Edge versus Orton for the WWE title was still believed to be planned as the Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So, yeah, look, I don't like Orton winning titles anymore because there's been a repeated cycle I've noticed in the last several years, and I am sad that this came up. So, Orton is at first super boring. He's not doing anything exciting. He has the potential to do stuff, but is opting not to do anything cool. Then he suddenly becomes hot out of nowhere, like, say, kick Vince in the head and then go on a wild hot streak of insanity. Then he will win the title. He suddenly gets very stale and boring and no one cares anymore. And was like, okay, what else you got? And then he drops the title, back to being boring. No one wins. Remember what happened last time when he did that? He fought Bray Wyatt at Mania when he was on a hot streak with his feud with Bray Wyatt as part of the Wyatt family cult stuff, when he was temporarily a member. And then they did this, and like instead of doing the triple threat match that they were building up this whole time, only to stop, they said, "Okay, Orton, you're winning the title." Why? Because Bray Wyatt is horrible. Then why'd you put that? Was Ryan Ward's idea. I am Vince McMahon, and Road Dogg is my personal bitch. Even he's sick of me at this point. So, I just am sick of the idea right now. Like, remember, and after Orton won the title, no one wanted that. No one wanted it. They felt like Bray Wyatt was robbed again because they continue to say he can't win the big one. But it added more unnecessary time for Wyatt to finally be taken more seriously by management. And it took an additional, 2 years? And I'm surprised he still hasn't quit. So, anyways, yeah. So, Orton is going to be champion for 5 months, it seems, unless they do a surprise and have the Fiend get his revenge, because damn it, I want that. Can we do something different? I don't want to see Edge versus Orton for the title. I don't want more part-timers holding the world title to disappear for several months and then come back. Everyone praises them for their awesome match, and then they disappear again and never to be seen. I'm like, I get it's Edge, and I get there's at least Edge has an established reason why he can't wrestle as much as he used to, because, I don't know, the neck and everything, so they have to be careful how they do it, whereas Lesnar has no excuse other than he hates wrestling, or he doesn't like to travel and doesn't like full-time work, even though you're in an industry that is pretty much demanding of it, especially if you're going to be the freaking champion. But that's just my philosophy when it comes to part-timers. And like even The Rock, he fought at Royal Rumble, he fought at Elimination Chamber, and he fought at WrestleMania. He had a 70-day reign with the title, and then he showed up for the majority of his shows. And he's in Hollywood. And the biggest actor there, metaphorically speaking. I'm not saying literally yet. I don't know who actually is the biggest actor in terms of size and tallness. And a raw muscle. So, yeah, not happy. But back to the trademarking world, WWE has trademarked Sin Cara. Okay, so it seems they're bringing back Sin Cara for a future plan. They had 2 Sin Cara trademarks that were canceled on the 28th and 25th of August and September, respectively, this year, both for general merchandise. use. They have another trademark that is currently live for entertainment services and general pro wrestling use, and a second trademark that is live for merchandise use. As they were all originally filed for February 2011 and June 2011. Okay, so this is the one type of trademark I'll support because it's that philosophy of the whole, well, he's a masked wrestler, so we can get anyone to play the role, right? Right? Hey, like Impact Wrestling's suicide character from the video game that was made into, you know, a physical wrestler. So at least that I get. I at least get that. But Sin Cara was their name. His original name, I think, was Mystico. Oh, I don't even know what happened to the guy. But yeah, this is the one trademark of a wrestler's name I agree because it doesn't actually have wrestler's original name. It's just Sin Cara, and it's part of the whole initiative of well, he's a masked wrestler, so we could just get any high flyer to play the role. I mean, like, we got Justin Gabriel to play a bunny. Remember that? And that guy could have been a world champion. Wasteland 3 was briefly banned in Australia because of a harmful drug. So one element of Wasteland 3 had to change before it could release in Australia. Ahead of its release, it was briefly refused classification in Australia, effectively banning it from sale. At the time, the classification was vague on the reason why the game was banned. After a small change, they were given an R18 plus rating and allowed for release. Now in the board's annual report, as picked up by Kotaku of Australia, some further reasoning has been given the game's ban, and it all comes down to one drug that the player was allowed to smoke in the original submission. During the game, characters were able to smoke a drug known as Rocky Mountain Moosegrass, which appears to be a strain of cannabis. Yes, the drug is donated by an icon of cannabis cigarette or joint in the player's inventory. That is accompanied by captions that attest to the cannabis-like effects on the drug. As the reports notes, the sound of sparking lighter was heard when players used the moose grass, and the players were given a bolder effect worth one ability point after smoking. Under Australia's classification rules, games cannot depict the use of a drug with a real-life analog in a positive manner, and the board has a long history of refusing classification for games due to incentivize drug use, many of which have been similarly edited out to enable for release, such as The Bug Butcher, not Paranormal, Punctuality, The Activity, Saints Row 4, State of Decay, Fallout 3. While the game did not directly call moose grass marijuana, the significers made their intent clear. Just showing the drug used will get you or game ban, but tying it into incentives will. The game was resubmitted for interactive use of the drug, removed, and the game was accepted. So yeah, I guess they don't want kids to play their games when it has drugs involved. I get that, I really do, but at the same time, they never said it, so I'm not. The legal stuff is gray area to me here. Whereas the US, it's like, go out! Oh, but don't do sex. We can show the most gruesome violence and brief nudity, but if you do interactive sex games, that will be too far, man. We are America. We have a really messed up terms of service deals. Yeah, and like, didn't South Park do an episode where they say the F bomb multiple times, and if they had said approximately one more swear of the F word, that would have given them an NC-17 rating, even though it's a show that showcases nudity at times and sensitive organs? But like, nope. If he had said one more swear word, the children would be poisoned of the damn children. But you just said, I don't care what you said, damn it. But you just cursed as I think of the children. Because that's how the world works nowadays. You could showcase copious amounts of violence, blood, and guts, but if you say one swear word, it's too far. Oh, man. In the past months, Twitch has struggled with onslaughts of DMCA takedown notices and the use of non-licensed music on the platform. The company recently set up a soundtrack service to offer licensed music to streamers, but some music organizations are convinced that Twitch is taking the necessary steps to address the issue. According to Variety, Twitch and its parent company Amazon received a letter signed by major U.S. music institutions, including RAA, the Recording Industry Association of America. It accuses the platform of letting streamers ignore copyright laws and failing to secure the proper copyright licenses for the soundtrack tool. The letter claims that Twitch did not give sync, audio only use, and mechanical video use license for soundtrack. It also asserts that Twitch allows and enables its streamers to use our respected members without authorization in violation of Twitch music guidelines. Twitch, the letter elaborates, Twitch appears to do nothing in response to the thousands of notices of music infringement that it has received, nor does it currently even acknowledge that it received them as it's done in the past. Twitch countered by saying the soundtrack is not in violation of any copyright laws and is partnered with music organizations such as SoundCloud, CD Baby, Empire, Create Music Group, United Masters, and more. Soundtrack is fully licensed service. Twitch has entered into agreements with rights holders for recordings and compositions, including in the service. Soundtracks is not only a fully licensed way for streamers to play great music during their live stream, but also an important discovery tool for independent artists and labels. The platform also strongly refuted the letter's claims of non-response to DMCA copyrights. It's saying, finally, let's be absolutely clear. Twitch responds to each valid DMCA notices. It proceeds by removing the allegedly infringing content quickly and compliance with DMCA requirements. Okay. Yeah, except there's just one problem with that last part. It's kind of true, but at the same time, they don't tell the streamers, oh, well, this is actually what got it banned. You see this part here, timestamp to here. They were just like, nope, you can't refile it. You can't edit it out, even after your notice. We just delete the video outright. And the streamers are all asking for just clarification. They want transparency, everyone. So the music industry and the streamers aren't happy with Twitch. So Twitch is in a no-win situation here. Call it a night, boys. It's not going to happen. Also, those who play World of Tanks and also love Silent Hill will be happy to know that the creative team of Silent Hill worked on World of Tanks' Halloween event. Yeah, the art director and the music composer collaborate with Wargaming to create a new World of Tanks PvE co-op event. It's set to launch on October 26th to last till November 28th. And I'm just like, what? Okay, that's kind of cool, but I'm not interested in World of Tanks, so I'm pretty much not the best guy. Gears 5 will add New Game Plus and identity swap for Marcus. So as part of the next gen upgrade, it reports that on November 10th, the update will not only unlock the next gen versions for current owners and Game Pass subscribers, it will also add these new features. New difficulty levels, Iron Man to inconceivable. Well, new character skins and weapon skins. You can use any you've unlocked in multiplayer. Mutators, such as Big Head mode. New achievements. Yay! Furthermore, all your jacked upgrades will carry across, so you won't be starting back from square one. Iron Man will be a classic permadeath mode, where you only got one life, whereas Inconceivable is just a bit harder than what's available now. The most curious change in the ability is to swap Marcus Phoenix for Batista, Dave Batista's character from WWE, complete with newly recorded lines. While it will likely sap away some of the resonance of Marcus's place in the franchise, the game's principal Lee says the result of a fan campaign on Twitter, clearly this is something people wanted. If that's the case, where's Dwayne Johnson? I'm like, granted, everyone remembers the disaster that was Doom, but he could probably fit that. Why not get what? I never even like multiplayer, yes, but like I don't recall anyone saying they wanted him in the game. Like DLC, yeah, but like, okay, okay. So you could change Marcus Phoenix's identity to Dave Batista. Okay, that's kind of funny. So Raven Softworks co-founder on leading Black Ops Cold War after supporting Call of Duty for 10 years on IGN Unfiltered. According to Ravensoft's co-founder Brian Raffel, the studio is extremely excited to be lending development of its own Call of Duty campaign after essentially doing essential support work for the franchise for so many years. IGN sat down with him and they talked about a lot of stuff, and basically it's the whole we're excited about the prospect. I have been a fan for this game, I have supported this game, and I'm finally glad to be able to bring my touch into the franchise. Okay. So Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, not really interested in it. Like it's like the multiple endings choice actually gives me some hope, but like, yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Ooh, James Gunn had been in some big interviews. It was while talking to Empire. Actually says this: David Ayer's Suicide Squad had deep and fearless character building. Okay, okay, he can like the movie. That's perfectly his right. But like, the only characters that I felt actually had a character was Boomerang because he punched everyone and cursed a lot and drank a soda can. Harley Quinn because it's Harley Quinn, and Will Smith. That's it. And also, the thing I do have a problem with, I didn't address this in the video when I talked about Suicide Squad. But like, I neglected to forget this, but when I realized it, I was like, damn it. Where the whole movie happened because of Amanda Waller's incompetence. Yeah, I didn't learn about that till I watched the Nostalgia Critics review around that time, and I was like, holy crap, that's true. The whole plot of the movie centers around a character that was supposed to be part of the Suicide Squad going mad and getting out of her prison and becoming the villain of the movie. It is Amanda Waller's fault. Bullshit. So yeah, the certain characters like Jai, Courtney's Captain Boomerang, and Harley Quinn, Maggie Robbie's Harley Quinn coming back. But despite the returning characters, Gunn suggested the connection between the two are hazy, saying this: it's its own thing. It does not contradict the first movie. I don't think it might in some small ways, but probably not. I don't know. Hold on, let me check something. Like that doesn't make sense because it's like I do think Amanda Waller's coming back. Was she in the original Suicide Squad? Yeah, if she did. Let me just check something just for confirmation. Oh yeah. Originally, Deadshot was supposed to be in this, but played by a different character, Idris Elba. But then they said, "Yeah, we don't want to go through that route," so they wanted to deal with a new character instead, and allowing Smith an opportunity to return in a future film, so they could just quickly say in exposition, "Oh, he did some more missions, so he clearly got it out." So yeah, there's at least that. So fine, we're good on that. Good news on the Marvel Cinematic Universe side. Marvel's Shang-Chi wraps up filming with the powerful message from Simi can't pronounce his name, in Liu. Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has finished filming, and its star has shared a powerful message to honor this moment. As reported, he wrote the message in a private Facebook group saying that it will be impossible for Hollywood to ignore us after this. That's a wrap on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. 9 months from now, we will break records, make history as the first superhero movie to feature an all-Asian cast that kicks so much ass. Yay. It's not even funny. Well, that's a lie. It's actually quite funny. For all of us who hate our color of our skin and been made to feel less than because of it, no more. This is our movie. It will be impossible to ignore, or for Hollywood to ignore us. I'll see you then, but probably sooner actually, because I'm always on here. LOL, LLL. Oh, let's effing go. Okay, like, I don't want to go into that rabbit hole regarding the virus and how people were, how a certain person was calling it a certain name because of where it originated, and then people actually started attacking them because they thought they were infected creatures or some bullshit like that. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Let's move on. So, Creed 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So, everyone wants to see Creed 3, right? Probably. Buried in a report from Deadline about the possibility of a No Time to Die upcoming James Bond movie skipping the theaters and just going for a streaming service, it was mentioned that MGM still considers Bond to be its crown jewel. It is also working on a Creed sequel that Michael B. Jordan will reportedly consider directing. This will be his first directorial debut. So, yeah, that's part of their big plan. They might be having like with no further details given, that this isn't the first we've heard about Jordan potentially being picked to direct Creed 3 as the producer also wrote in the book. He promised he'd get his chance to direct Creed 3. He promised Jordan to say, I promised Michael B. Jordan that he'd get his chance to direct Creed 3. He notes on page 253, and on page 272, he reiterates this. Last year, in a conversation with our Creed star Michael B. Jordan, I offered him the opportunity to not only star in, but also to direct Creed 3. So, yeah, if he takes on that role, that will be his directorial debut. Well, I'm not sure what he can bring to the table in that position, but I would be interested in it. But at the same time, I'm also thinking to myself, Simon Kinberg had written a lot of the X-Men scripts, and then he finally did his own Dark Phoenix, and that didn't end as hopeful as they had hoped. So, yeah, I don't want to dig into that hole. Oh, also, in one of the ticker board, I mentioned how Guillermo del Toro apparently had his own version of Halo. So yeah, Guillermo del Toro, in one of the many possible live-action incarnations, it was at one point said to become a movie directed by Guillermo del Toro. Well, according to one of the original game developers, the director was at one point pitching for an adaptation, which Master Chief. Okay, this is the twist they wanted to do with. Guillermo del Toro It's revealed that Guillermo del Toro, that Master Chief would have a twin brother, and the twin brother sided with the Flood, not like get infected, but side with them, and that the twin brother and him would fight to the death. It would be a battle of brother versus brother at the end. The rest was the Devs React panel. Saying this. That's what Joey, presumably Joseph Stanton, and Halo's 1's writer and cinematic director were saying. Del Toro was pitching this to Joe at his house. He was punching Joe on the arm and going, and they're brothers, and they're going to fight at the end. Sadly, we don't learn any more about Del Toro's ideas before the panel goes to other topics, although Russell does say he could get that story corroborated. Man, that actually would have been interesting. But that would retcon a ton of stuff, like a ton of major retcons onto the Halo lore if they made this canon, because they never mention a twin brother, and Magic Chief would certainly have mentioned it this whole time unless he was already dead to him. Also, wait, why why would his twin brother willingly side with the Flood? Like when Mendicant Bias, the AI that joined the Flood in the war, or that was because he went rampant and therefore went crazy, essentially. But why would the twin brothers side with the Flood? Weird. So Spider-Man 3 production talk. Tom Holland announced his filming, starting with a video message. Okay, so we're in Atlanta. Holland announced from an laugh from an airport, and it's time for Spider-Man 3. Let's go! It was set to begin back in July filming, then the virus happened, and the second unit filming began recently in New York for establishing shots without the main cast. With the production having been relocated to Atlanta, principal photography is expected to run until 2021 of March, with additional filming locations planned for Los Angeles and Iceland. So, yeah, no idea, but all we know is that Doctor Strange is going to hang out with him. Probably part of the whole we broke time. Oh, man. And this is part of the presumed multiverse of madness event that's going to happen. So um so look forward to that, everyone. But big news on James Gunn's Suicide Squad. In a tweet, he's revealed this when fans commented this. Harley Quinn has franchise armor. Pretty sure King Shark and Amanda will also have the DC has them in other things protection. Everyone else is set to an 80% chance of dying. James Gunn responded with this. No characters were protected by DC. They gave me carte blanche to do what I wanted. That was the one things we agreed to before I came to work for them. I wasn't looking for shock value, but I wanted the audience to know anything could happen. And then Kyle Griffin on Twitter said, "Has any actor suggested to not kill their characters?" James Gunn just says, "It really sucks having to tell an actor you're killing a character they play, especially if they play the character in a film or if they didn't die in a first draft. Most of them do not want to die, but everyone I've told has been mature about it." Okay, that's actually interesting. So if they kill off Harley Quinn, which will be a surprise, they can't use her again, right? Like, would DC really go for it? Like because Harley Quinn is way popular. It's about as believable as the Joker dying in Suicide Squad. It wasn't believable to anyone because it's the freaking Joker, especially when you have the legacy of the Dark Knight making him more popular. But Harley Quinn, she's been on the TV show. She's not just in the. And then she was put in the comics because she was just that good of a character. Then they went ahead and gave her TV appearances more and more. They started pushing her more. Then she got her own show and it's super popular. And now she's getting a big role in the Batman books. So if they really went ahead and killed her off, like here's the thing. I think there's a way DC will probably reverse this effect without James Gunn's consent because he got to make the movie he wanted, so he can't really complain on that if he wants to. But like, there is a way they could change that. So this movie is set to release August 6th of 2021. Let's see if I'm correct with this, and considering how they've alluded to this. Um, the unknown movie, The Flash, is set to launch in 2022. So yeah, and considering how much they've said that this would quote reboot everything, or so to speak, or like change history, or basically fix a lot of the mistakes that were made. Let me just, especially with the idea of two Batman running around, and that Flashpoint would be leading to a brand new DCEU. Yeah, I get the feeling like they could kill Harley Quinn off in the Suicide Squad, but then bring her back for like I don't know the new DCU Rebirth initiative. So yeah, I don't if they kill her off, I'm not expecting it to stick. So, the Batman, the upcoming Matt Reeves movie with I want to get his name right. Robert Pattinson, gotcha. The Robert Pattinson Matt Reeves movie has shut down part of Chicago for filming. So we shut down part of a city, everyone. The Batman did it, yay! So so it was closed from Friday evening to early Saturday due to production of the Batman taking place. News comes courtesy of ABC 7 in Chicago, who mentioned that filming will be taking place in LaSalle Street, Jackson Boulevard, and Washington Street. Filming caused the closure of those streets from Friday evening to Saturday morning. The outlet also showed videos of several Gotham elements from the Chicago set, including Gotham City police cars. Okay, it recently did took place in Liverpool, England, and was recently released photos that from the set that featured Catwoman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, and John Turturro's Carmine Falcone. Additionally, another set of photos seem to tease that DC Comics' Justice League may exist in the Batman universe, but different. So get ready for that. But Justice League, but like I don't think it's the Justice League. It's just Superman and Wonder Woman because it's hard to imagine them forming the Justice League. Well, Batman. Remember the big Green Lantern show that's coming on HBO Max? So this is what was announced by producer Mark. I'm not going to pronounce his name. I'll try. Let me try. Guggenheim. Okay, that failed. During the event, Mark briefly discussed the series during a live stream on YouTube. I happen to believe, and this is not universally held opinion, you can't do a 10-hour show or an 8-episode show like an 8-hour movie. I don't think that works. You got to look at it with a different tempo than you would have in a 2-hour movie. That being said, certainly the show for HBO Max that we're all working on, and we are approaching it with the production ambitions of a movie, so we're relying on it with a TV show, but we're hoping to produce it like a film. Ah. You wrote Green Lantern, the original, so yeah. And then Jeff Johns involved, so clearly Jeff Johns' stuff was supposed to be incorporated. So, though you did create the DC Arrowverse, so okay, fine. But just give me a good Jessica Cruz and I'll be all for it. It's going to be executive produced by Jeff Johns, so I at least have hope that it's good. And that this TV output would help it more so to expand stuff and flesh things out. But let's move on to some interesting deleted tweet. So, according to MovieWeb, a certain actor briefly showed fan art that showed him smoking a cigar while mocked up as a Wolverine on someone's Instagram story as part of the whole by Boss Logic, showing his idea of who should play Wolverine in the MCU. Who is this mysterious actor? Darce. Now you're probably wondering who the hell is Darce. So he just played a very simple character in a show that you probably never heard of, and like he only just played Billy Hargrove from Stranger Things season 2 and 3 and was freaking awesome in it. But Wolverine, come on, right? Actually, I could see that to some extent. He would have to tie his hair completely black. Like I can't imagine him with any other type of colored hair. And if they did that in the comics, then I never saw it other than white hair. But like this is the same company that did make uh what was her name ah, damn it, I forgot her name. Uh, what was the Jubilee? Yeah, Jubilee. Like, did they do a comic for a while where she was a vampire? Uh, uh, oh, in 2010, she was turned into a vampire during the Curse of the Mutant storyline. She was recently cured of her vampirism and her mutant powers restored by a shard of the Phoenix Force. Okay, gotcha. So they had her be a vampire, and they had her depowered at a time as well. Okay. So they go with the whole, oh, Wolverine has orange hair now, like Billy Hargrove. Oh, but in fact, what does he look like outside of the Stranger Things verse before when he was killed off? Um, no, he has brown hair, like it just dye it. But yeah, would it be kind of cool? I think so. He has the intensity of it. I think like he could do shock value stuff that freaks actors out, like he did in Stranger Things season 3, like bursting through glass and scaring the kids. Because that's a clear sign he's stable, right? Because that's not going to scar them even though they're kids. And despite being actors, because yeah, that's what they revealed. Turns out that Billy's character, the actor who played Billy, it was revealed that scene where he bursts through the glass door in one of the episodes when it's revealed of his possession, and when he's trying to kill his sister. It's revealed that was not planned in the script. He burst through it and scared the crap out of the kids in real life because they thought he lost it. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. So, we got a new Moon Knight being talked about. Moon Knight news. Yay, Moon Knight, Moon Knight, Moon Knight. So, there is apparently a lead talk for the person to play the lead. Who is this? So, it was recently rumored the court were also reportedly considered by recently reportedly considered that Nick Knoll and Hamilton star David Diggs were reportedly considered for the role. Oh, but now it seems Marvel has pushed for this new actor to do it. So, who is this great actor? Well, he played not so very important characters and has a history with the Marvel Universe and stuff. Like, he played Poe Dameron, but everyone doesn't care about that character. Oh, and he also played Apocalypse, but not the big bulky one. Okay, he played Poe Dameron in Apocalypse, Oscar Isaac. So, okay, he could have been a great actor in Star Wars, but it's just like I had very little care for Poe Dameron's character and how they made him kind of a dumbass and then just made him pointless. And then, and then like, and then Apocalypse, he was okay in that. Like, he wasn't the same Apocalypse. I get that this was a reinterpretation, so they could go any way they want with Apocalypse, so long as they keep the, Apocalypse part of his gimmick. But, yeah, like, some of the ideology that Apocalypse had was kept in the movie, but, not like, not his big ultimate form that he's in all the time. The big, humongous, the size of the Hulk, but more philosophically controlled. So, yeah, he's in talks to play Moon Knight in the Moon Knight series on Disney Plus. Okay, like I thought he was okay as Apocalypse. I thought, it's not enough attention for me to give a proper consensus rating on Oscar Isaac role as Poe Dameron because Disney clearly didn't care. But yeah, Moon Knight. He's a schizophrenic, has multiple personality disorder. Yeah, that definitely helps. Helps, and has received superhuman powers from the Egyptian god Khushu. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name wrong. So Egyptian people, do not be mad at me that I got that wrong, or anyone who studies mythology. Um, he's an expert detective and capable martial artist, resembling in many ways DC Comics' Batman. Yet Daredevil is getting the Batman look. And he's also currently part of the Avengers, right? He was part of West Coast Avengers, but we're talking about the current Avengers stuff, right? Or is he just showed up in there? But he did appear in movies like Ex Machina and Annihilation, and I liked him in those movies. He's he was also Into the Spider-Verse, but I didn't even notice that. So yeah, it's set to start production on November 6th, pending delays of the virus and whatnot, and they're still searching for a director, so if they don't get a director by the 16th, then we're gonna be screwed. We're gonna have to wait. But I'm digging this idea. Let's see who's the official casting of the Moon Knight. And I'm hoping we get a confrontation with him and Daredevil one day. Because if there's anything Marvel loves, it's superheroes versus superheroes. Because that's a thing for them. DC loves their comic crisis events, and Marvel loves their superhero civil war fights. So yeah, that's about it for this video's talk of Neo Reality News, Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk episode. So those were all my collective thoughts on episode 33's edition of the show. Oh, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you all next time.